My mom sat me down after Grandma's funeral and said your sister deserves the apartment more than you do because she was the better child. So I asked, then why did Grandma leave it in my name? I 28M need to get this off my chest because I'm going insane. My parents have always favored my sister Jessica, 26F. I know that. But what's happening now is beyond anything I could have imagined. Last year, my grandmother Patricia passed away and left me her apartment in downtown. It's nothing fancy, but it's mine legally and morally. My grandmother and I were close. I visited her every week, helped with groceries, took her to doctor appointments. Jessica visited maybe twice a year for major holidays. The apartment is worth about $180,000, which isn't huge money, but it's life-changing for someone like me who's been renting and struggling to save for a down payment. I work as a graphic designer, make decent money but nothing spectacular. Jessica is a marketing director at a tech company, pulls in six figures, drives a BMW, and lives in a luxury condo her boyfriend Michael helps pay for. Here's where it gets insane. 2 weeks after the funeral, my parents sat me down for what they called a family discussion. My dad, Richard, starts with, "Now, David, we need to talk about grandmother's apartment." I figured they wanted to discuss cleaning it out or something practical. Instead, my mom, Barbara, jumps in with, "We think Jessica should have the apartment. She's more successful. She'd make better use of it. And honestly, you've never been as responsible as she is." I sat there stunned. My dad nods along and adds, "Jessica has always been the achiever in the family. You're still figuring things out at 28. She deserves this more than you do." The kicker, they wanted me to sign the apartment over to Jessica for the good of the family. They said I should be happy to help my sister succeed further and that grandmother would have wanted the apartment to go to the child who could appreciate it most. I told them absolutely not. The apartment was left to me specifically. Grandmother made that choice deliberately. If she wanted Jessica to have it, she would have left it to Jessica. My parents got angry. Really angry. My mom said, "This is exactly why you'll never amount to anything, David. You're selfish and small-minded. Jessica would never hesitate to help family like this." My dad chimed in with his favorite comparison. "Look at your sister. She's successful. She's engaged to a doctor. She's making something of herself. What do you have to show for your life? Some freelance design work and a studio apartment." The conversation ended with them saying I had 1 week to think about what's right for the family and that they were disappointed but not surprised by my selfishness. I've been thinking about this nonstop my whole life. Everything I did was compared to Jessica. Better grades. Well, Jessica got accepted to a better college, got a promotion. Jessica just bought a new car, learned to cook. Jessica's boyfriend took her to Paris. I love my sister, but I'm tired of being the family disappointment just because I don't make as much money or live as flashy a lifestyle. The apartment represents security for me, something that's actually mine that I can build from. Am I crazy for refusing to sign over my inheritance? My parents are acting like I'm being unreasonable, but this feels like the final straw in a lifetime of favoritism. Update 1 to 6 weeks ago. The situation has escalated beyond what I thought possible. I need to update you all because I'm honestly questioning my own sanity at this point. After I refused to sign over the apartment, my parents went silent for about a week. I thought maybe they'd realized how ridiculous their request was. I was wrong. Last Sunday, I went to grandmother's apartment to continue sorting through her belongings. I've been taking my time with this process because it's emotional, and I wanted to be respectful of her memory. When I got there, I found Jessica inside with a measuring tape and notebook. "Oh, David. Perfect timing," she said, as if this was completely normal. "I'm just getting measurements for the renovation. Michael and I have some amazing ideas for this space." I stood there speechless as she continued measuring the living room. "We're thinking of knocking out this wall to create an open concept, and this kitchen is so outdated. We'll need to gut the whole thing. Jessica, what are you doing here? How did you even get in?" She held up a key. "Mom gave it to me. She said you were being difficult about the apartment situation, so they wanted me to start planning ahead. Don't worry, we'll make sure you're involved in the process." The casual way she said this floored me. They were all acting like the apartment transfer was a done deal, like my refusal was just a minor obstacle they needed to work around. "Jessica, I'm not signing over the apartment. This isn't your place to renovate." She looked genuinely confused. "David, be reasonable. Look at this place objectively. You can't afford to renovate it properly. You'd probably just rent it out or sell it for quick cash. Michael and I can turn this into something special. We have the vision and the resources. Grandmother left it to me." That should be the end of the conversation. Grandmother was old. David, she didn't understand real estate markets or investment potential. Mom and Dad explained everything to me. They said, "You're being selfish about this." And honestly, I have to agree. I told her to leave immediately and took the key from her. She protested, saying she was just trying to help the family, but eventually left. Before going, she said, "You know, everyone always said I was the responsible one, but I never realized how right they were until now." That evening, I got calls from both parents. My dad was furious that I'd embarrassed Jessica and kicked her out like she was some stranger. My mom said I was being cruel and petty and that Jessica was only trying to help me see the bigger picture. The bigger picture, apparently, is that I'm too small-minded to appreciate what the apartment could become in Jessica's hands. I changed the locks the next day. I also spoke with a lawyer who handled grandmother's estate. He confirmed that the apartment is legally mine. Period. No one can force me to sign it over, and my parents have no legal claim to it whatsoever. But the psychological pressure is intense. They're making me feel like I'm destroying the family over money, like I'm being selfish and short-sighted. Jessica sent me texts saying she's disappointed in who I've become and that she never thought I'd choose money over family. The irony is incredible. They're the ones making this about money, but somehow I'm the greedy one for wanting to keep what was legally left to me. I'm starting to realize this isn't really about the apartment. It's about the fact that for once in my life, I have something Jessica wants and can't just take. For once, I'm not the family backup plan or consolation prize. Update 2 to 4 weeks ago. I thought I'd seen the worst of it, but my family continues to surprise me with new levels of manipulation and entitlement. 2 weeks ago, Jessica showed up at my apartment with her boyfriend Michael. Michael is a pediatric surgeon, and my parents never miss a chance to mention this fact. They introduced themselves politely, and I thought maybe Jessica had come to apologize. Instead, Michael launched into what he called a practical conversation between adults. "David, I understand this situation has gotten emotional, but let's look at this logically. Jessica and I are planning our future together. We're looking at starting a family in the next few years. That apartment could be converted into a perfect family space." Jessica nodded along. "We've already spoken to contractors. The renovation would cost about $80,000, but the property value would increase to around $320,000. You could never afford that kind of investment," Michael continued. "We're prepared to offer you $50,000 for signing over the apartment. That's free money for you, David. You keep living your current lifestyle. No changes, but you get $50,000 cash." I asked them if they were serious. They were basically offering me $50,000 for a property worth $180,000 that would become worth $320,000 after their renovations. "It's not just about current value," Jessica explained. "It's about potential. You'd probably just live there as is or rent it out for maybe $1,200 a month. We're talking about creating something beautiful, something that honors grandmother's memory properly." The conversation went on like this for an hour. They had spreadsheets, renovation plans, neighborhood development projections. They'd clearly put serious thought into this presentation. When I refused again, Michael's tone changed. "David, I'm trying to be respectful here, but you're not thinking clearly. This is a generous offer for someone in your position. When will you get another opportunity like this?" "My position?" I asked. "Let's be honest," Jessica said. "You're 28. You're single. You live in a studio apartment. Your income is inconsistent. This apartment is probably the most valuable thing you'll ever own. We're offering to turn it into something that benefits everyone." Michael added, "Jessica's parents are concerned about your decision-making lately. They think you might be going through something emotionally that's affecting your judgment." That's when I realized this wasn't just Jessica and Michael's idea. My parents had clearly been feeding them information about my finances, my lifestyle, my emotional state. They'd turned this into a family intervention where I was the problem that needed solving. I told them to leave, but Jessica kept pushing. "David, why are you being so stubborn about this? You're hurting the whole family over an apartment you didn't even earn. Grandmother gave it to you out of pity, not because you deserved it." "Pity," I said. "Come on, David. Everyone knows you were grandmother's charity case. She felt sorry for you because you never got your life together like I did. She probably thought the apartment would force you to become more responsible." Michael looked uncomfortable at this point, but he didn't stop her. "The truth is, you're not equipped to handle this responsibility. Property ownership taxes, maintenance insurance. It's complicated. You'll probably mess it up and lose the apartment anyway. At least this way it stays in the family." After they left, I sat in my apartment feeling completely drained. The systematic way they dismissed my worth as a person, the casual cruelty of Jessica's comments about grandmother's pity, the condescending assumption that I couldn't handle basic adult responsibilities, it was overwhelming. But it also clarified something for me. This isn't about the apartment anymore. It's about my family's fundamental belief that I'm less deserving, less capable, and less important than Jessica. The apartment just made that belief impossible to ignore. I called the lawyer the next day and asked about getting a restraining order if the harassment continued. He said it probably wouldn't be necessary yet, but he documented everything in case we need it later. I also started seeing a therapist, not because my judgment is impaired like my parents apparently think, but because I need professional help processing a lifetime of psychological manipulation that I'm just now recognizing for what it is. Update 3 to 2 weeks ago. Last week, my parents ambushed me at my workplace. I work at a small design firm, and they showed up during lunch asking the receptionist to see me for a family emergency. When I came to the lobby, they were sitting there with a folder of papers and said we needed to talk immediately. My boss, James, was concerned about the emergency and let us use his office. My dad spread out the papers on James's desk. "David, we've been patient with you, but this has gone on long enough. We had lawyers draw up a transfer agreement. It's all here ready to sign." The papers were legitimate legal documents transferring ownership of the apartment to Jessica. They'd actually paid lawyers to draft this. "This is the fair solution," my mom said. "Jessica gets the apartment, you get $75,000 cash, and the family stays together. Everyone wins." They'd increased their offer to $75,000, which they seemed to think was incredibly generous. "We know you're struggling financially," my dad continued. $75,000 is more money than you've ever had at one time. You could pay off your student loans, get a better car, maybe even put a down payment on a small place outside the city. My mom added, "Jessica deserves this apartment, David. She's accomplished, she's stable, she's building a real future. You're still trying to figure out what you want to be when you grow up." The fact that they did this at my workplace in front of my boss was deliberate. They wanted to create pressure, make me feel embarrassed, forced me to just sign to end the awkwardness. "I'm not signing anything," I said. "And I need you both to leave now." "David, be reasonable," my dad said. "Look around you. This is a small office. You're probably making $40,000 a year here. Jessica makes more than that in bonuses alone. She can actually afford to maintain the apartment properly." My boss, James, had been trying to stay out of it, but he finally spoke up. "Excuse me, but David is one of our most talented designers. His salary is his private business, but I can tell you he's valued here." My parents looked surprised that James had defended me. They're so used to everyone agreeing that Jessica is superior that pushback caught them off guard. My mom tried a different approach. "David, sweetie, we're worried about you. This obsession with keeping the apartment isn't healthy. It's causing stress in the family. It's affecting your relationships. Maybe you should talk to someone." "I am talking to someone," I said. "A therapist. She's helping me understand psychological manipulation and gaslighting." The room went quiet. My dad's face got red. "So now we're the bad parents because we want what's best for our children. You want what's best for Jessica," I corrected. "You always have." "That's not true," my mom said, but she couldn't look me in the eyes. "We love you both equally. When was the last time you asked about my life without comparing it to Jessica's? When was the last time you celebrated something I accomplished without adding, 'But Jessica did X'?" They couldn't answer. "The apartment stays with me," I said. "Please leave." My dad gathered up the papers angrily. "Fine, David, but don't come crying to us when this decision ruins your life. And don't expect us to bail you out when you mess this up." "I wouldn't dream of it," I replied. After they left, James asked if I was okay. I explained the basic situation, and he was shocked. He said, "David, I've met your sister at company events. She seems nice enough, but she's not more capable than you are. Different career paths doesn't mean one person is worth more than another." It meant a lot to hear that from someone who knows both of us professionally. That evening, Jessica called me crying. She said Mom and Dad told her I'd been cruel and disrespectful to them and that I'd embarrassed the family at my workplace. "David, I don't understand why you're doing this. We used to be close. I feel like you hate me now." "I don't hate you, Jessica. But I'm tired of being treated like I'm less important than you are. Nobody treats you like that, Jessica. 3 hours ago, Mom told me I'm still trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up. Yesterday you said grandmother gave me the apartment out of pity. Last month, Dad said I have nothing to show for my life. How is that not treating me like I'm less important?" She was quiet for a long time. Finally she said, "I never meant to hurt you. But David, you have to admit our lives are very different. I worked hard to get where I am. And I didn't. That's not what I meant." "Then what did you mean?" Another long pause. "I guess I meant that my hard work paid off more than yours did." There it was. The core belief that my family holds. Jessica's success makes her more deserving of good things. My different path makes me less worthy of respect, consideration, and inheritance. Jessica's grandmother left me the apartment because she wanted me to have it. That's the only reason that matters. But David, you could do so much with $75,000, and Michael and I would take such good care of the apartment. We'd make it beautiful. It's already beautiful to me because it was hers. She started crying harder. I feel like I'm losing my brother over money. You're not losing me over money, Jessica. You're losing me over the way I've been treated my entire life. The apartment just made it impossible to ignore anymore. The conversation ended with her saying she loved me, but didn't understand me. I told her I loved her too. But that love doesn't mean I have to accept being treated as lesser. Final update today. 3 days ago, my parents showed up at my apartment with Jessica, Michael, and another man I didn't recognize. When I opened the door, my dad pushed past me and said, "David, we're done playing games." The stranger introduced himself as Robert, their family lawyer. He had a briefcase full of documents and a notary stamp. "We're settling this today," my mom announced. She looked around grandmother's apartment with disgust. "Look at this place, David. You haven't done anything with it. There are still boxes everywhere. Nothing's been updated. You're wasting it." Robert opened his briefcase and spread papers across grandmother's dining table. These are transfer documents updated with a final offer of $100,000 cash to David, with the apartment going to Jessica immediately. Jessica was holding a folder thick with renovation plans, paint samples, and furniture catalogs. "David, look what we could do with this space. It could be incredible." Michael added, "We've already put down deposits with contractors. The work could start next month." I stared at them all standing in grandmother's living room, treating her space like it was already theirs, making plans around me as if I wasn't there. "David," my dad said, "you're 28 years old with nothing to show for your life but this apartment you inherited. Jessica has built something real. She's earned the right to have nice things." My mom chimed in, "We raised you better than this, David. We taught you to share, to put family first. This selfishness isn't who we raised you to be." Robert, the lawyer, was setting up his notary materials. "The papers are straightforward, David. You sign here, here, and here. We can have this finished in 10 minutes, and you can walk away with $100,000. I looked at Jessica, who was avoiding eye contact while flipping through her renovation plans. "Jessica, do you remember what grandmother used to say about this apartment?" She looked up annoyed. "David, grandmother said a lot of things. She said it was her sanctuary. She said it was the one place that was completely hers, where she could be herself without anyone judging her or telling her what to do. Okay. And she left it to me because she understood what it felt like to be the overlooked one in the family." My dad exploded. "That's ridiculous. You weren't overlooked. You were lazy. There's a difference between being overlooked and being disappointing." "Dad, when was the last time you asked about my work without comparing it to Jessica's job?" "Your work?" He laughed. "David, you make websites for local restaurants. Jessica develops marketing strategies for Fortune 500 companies. There's no comparison." "Exactly." I said, "There's no comparison because you don't value what I do." My mom tried to interject. "David, we're proud of you, but Jessica's better," I finished. "But Jessica's more successful." "But Jessica deserves more." It's always, "But Jessica." Robert cleared his throat. "Folks, I'm billing by the hour here. Can we focus on the documents?" I walked to the window where grandmother used to sit every morning with her coffee. "You want to know what grandmother told me the last time I visited her?" Nobody answered. She said, "David, I'm leaving you the apartment because you're the only one who visits me for me, not for what I might give you. You're the only one who sees me as a person, not as a resource." Jessica finally spoke. Grandmother was confused toward the end. "David, her judgment wasn't." "Her judgment was fine," I interrupted. "Her lawyer confirmed she was mentally competent when she updated her will. She knew exactly what she was doing." My dad was getting red-faced again. "David, we've been patient with you for months. We've made generous offers. We've tried reasoning with you. We've been understanding about your emotional issues. But this ends today. My emotional issues. Your therapist probably told you that we're manipulative or abusive or some psychological nonsense," my mom said. "But the truth is, we're trying to save you from making a huge mistake. The mistake," I said slowly, "would be signing over the one thing I've ever inherited to people who think I don't deserve it." Robert was growing impatient. "Look, son, $100,000 is a generous offer. Take the money. Let your sister have the apartment. Everyone's happy. I'm not your son," I told Robert. Then I looked at my parents, and apparently I'm not really their son either. Not the way Jessica is their daughter. The room went silent. I want all of you to leave, I said. No. My dad stepped forward aggressively. David, you signed those papers. Or what I asked. You'll disown me. You'll stop talking to me. You'll cut me out of family events. I laughed. Dad, you've already done all of that. You spent months making it clear that I'm the disappointment, the failure, the one who doesn't deserve good things. That's not true, my mom said, but her voice was weak. Mom, you told me 3 months ago that I'd never amount to anything. You said Jessica would never hesitate to help family the way I was hesitating. You called me selfish and small-minded. How is that not making it clear that you think I'm the lesser child Jessica was crying now? David, I never wanted it to be like this. I thought it would be better for everyone if Michael and I had the apartment. Better for everyone except me. I said, you'd have $100,000, Jessica. The apartment is worth $180,000 now. And you're planning $80,000 in renovations that would make it worth $320,000. You're asking me to give up $140,000 minimum so you can have something nice. How is that fair? Michael spoke up for the first time. David, it's not just about money. It's about what we can do with the space. You're letting it sit empty while we could turn it into a home. It is a home, I said. It's my home now. My dad grabbed the papers from Robert. Fine, David. Keep the apartment, but don't expect any help from us when you mess this up. Don't expect us to be there when your freelance design work dries up and you can't afford the property taxes. I won't, I said. My mom was crying now too. David, you're tearing this family apart over money. No, I said. You tore this family apart the moment you decided Jessica deserved my inheritance more than I did. They all filed out slowly. Jessica was the last to leave. At the door, she turned back and said, I'm sorry it came to this, David. I really am. I'm sorry too. I told her I'm sorry it took me 28 years to realize how you all really see me. After they left, I sat in grandmother's chair by the window and cried. Not from sadness exactly, but from relief. For the first time in my life, I had stood up to them completely. I had refused to be the lesser child, the backup plan, the one who sacrifices for Jessica's benefit. I called my therapist and scheduled an emergency session. She helped me process what had happened and confirmed what I already knew. I had made the right choice. Yesterday, I got a text from Jessica. David, Mom, and Dad are telling everyone you chose money over family. I want you to know I don't agree with that, but I also don't understand why you couldn't just take the $100,000. We could have all been happy. I didn't respond because there's nothing left to say. Jessica will never understand that it was never about the money. It was about finally, for once in my life, being seen as worthy of keeping something good that came my way. I've been living in grandmother's apartment for a week now. I'm slowly unpacking her things, keeping what has meaning, donating what doesn't. I'm painting the walls colors she would have liked. I'm making it mine while honoring who she was. The apartment feels like home in a way nowhere else ever has. It's quiet, it's peaceful, and it's mine. Nobody can take it from me. Nobody can tell me I don't deserve it, and nobody can make me feel guilty for keeping it. My parents were wrong about one thing. I do have something to show for my life. I have self-respect, boundaries, and a beautiful apartment that my grandmother left me because she loved me and believed I deserved it. That's more than enough. Edit. A lot of people are asking about the $100,000 offer versus the apartment value. Yes, I know $100,000 is a lot of money, but the apartment is worth $180,000 now, and their planned renovations would make it worth $320,000. They were essentially asking me to subsidize their dream home renovation by giving up $220,000 in value for $100,000 cash. Beyond that, it was never really about the money. It was about a lifetime of being treated as the lesser child and finally having something that was definitively legally mine that they couldn't take away.